But we enjoying the lunch, no? Right. Enjoying the lunch. Lunch they would have brought from home, no? Can't be the canteens want to enjoy, no? Okay. Record, no? Me on any. Right. Okay, friends. Today we are having which session? Number 3 or number 4, right? Session number 4 topic is there. And then I hope you remember last time, when I met last time, I gave some ground rules regarding the handouts. What you see here in the soft form, which I have uploaded, may be slightly different to what you see here, right? That is because I add sometimes certain exercises, then the visuals, right, for better explanation, right? Right, let us start with our objectives of the day. Our friends at the back, can you all see? Right. Okay, so objectives is where at the end we are supposed to develop an understanding on what key concepts involved in the topic. So here the topic is motives of entrepreneurial action, but there are certain constructs which are going hand in hand with that construct. So here I have highlighted motive, and there is motivators and the motivation, right? So all are similar, but there are subtle differences. We see what those are. And when it is tagged with the term entrepreneurship, then we talk entrepreneurial motives, entrepreneurial motivation, so on and so forth. So we will understand what those are. And thereafter, second one is there are theories, because this is at master's level. We ought to have the theoretical parts embedded into our sessions. So we are talking about some theories addressing entrepreneurial motivation, right? And particularly this is important. Eventually, we all are writing our project reports. And especially for the literature review part, whether it is ESRP, MFRP, of course, in MRT, it is extensively done. But in other options, there is a dedicated chapter for literature review, theoretical inputs. So for that one, we have to find certain relevant theories. So this will provide you the insight for those, right? So then there we are talking about some theories here. I'll be introducing 12 theories here. Not going into detail, but I will just, the word I used was introduce. I will introduce, right? And in certain theories, what you can do is if you want to incorporate in your final report, in that particular section, you can do extensive study, go into details, read articles, and then get a thorough understanding. But I will just give the surface level explanation, right? And on top of that, okay, I'll talk about the next one as well. Some selected models. Selected in the sense now here I will introduce only 2 models, right? So models are very easy to understand. Unlike theories, certain theories are running into more than 1 page. You have to read and thereafter look at the explanations, examples, etc. Still, sometimes you find it a little difficult to understand. That is normal, right? Because all these academics, they have done studies over months and then forwarded those theories. But us, when we read at once, little difficult to comprehend. Academics have realized that one and then simplified that. So they are simplified versions of theories are the models, right? Models are very easy to understand, and the characteristics of model you would have seen: arrow diagrams, boxes, small examples, etc. So with that one, human mind registers all these things in pictorial form, well, rather than in text form. Therefore, it is very easy for us to understand and register in mind. So that's the beauty of all the models, right? Then we'll be introducing 2. And the last one is all our exercise, because we all have the individual assignment and the group assignment. Have you all started assignment? You have started. Okay. So my ardent advice is start that one. You don't have to complete, because at the end, toward then you have assignments of 3 subjects. So if you wait till the last moment, everything will be in a mess. You will do it, but take my word, in my MBA journey, most of the learnings I had through assignments, because that is the real application. Otherwise, it is we are just studying, answering the exams, haphazardly doing assignments, then of course, you get something into your head. But what I feel is, my experience is, the real learning comes through application for assignments. So what I advise is, just start it. Don't have to complete. Now, individual assignment, there you are talking about yourself. Imagining yourself after so many number of years, what are you? What would you be as an entrepreneur? So for that one, then no one that there is no barrier for you to think, right? So with your limited understanding, you can start thinking, jotting down something. And for the group assignment, you have to select a particular entrepreneur, right? Are you all in a group? Four of you all. Have you all chosen an entrepreneur? Very good, right? So like that, I believe at least group level, if you can select a particular person, entrepreneur, then first step is okay. So with that one, you can start collecting data, meeting the fellow, independently study. Thereafter, your background part is partially complete. So that will relieve you of a lot of other responsibilities. So you can start it. So in today's session, there is a lot that you would get to put into your group and individual assignments, particularly the group assignment. Because we are talking about the entrepreneurs, these constructs, motives, etc. These motives, etc., come into play when one person decides to become an entrepreneur, right? So in all these, the entrepreneurs you will be selecting at one particular point of time have decided, right? Either leave their job and then become an entrepreneur, or if it is something family members to join the family business. So that sort of a decision is tagged with these constructs. So today's session will be particularly important in that respect, right? So then you will be getting the inputs for those two. So that's the objective of the session today. So at the outset, right, let me show you a particular visual. Do you know who this person is? Any idea? Ratan Tata. All others share the same opinion. Ratan Tata. Who is Ratan Tata? You can pass the mic to your colleague. No, not a colleague, right? Yes, please. No, it's all right. Even if you haven't heard, it doesn't matter because when I did my MBA, sometimes certain questions were asked. Dr. Travis Perry asked. I was not in a position to answer all questions. It's all right. Yeah, give it to my yeah, please. Right. Ratan Tata.
So he's also an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, yes.
He's located in India. And, he's a great personality.
Yes. So good. Yeah, that's enough, right? So the thing is that he's an entrepreneur. And then, yes, please. What sort of businesses he had? Buses? Sorry? Reliance Group. Are you sure? This is Ratan Tata or Mukesh Ambani? Ah, right. Okay. So Ratan Tata, what sort of business he had? Sorry, buses? Yes. He was everywhere. If you take the automobile, petroleum, electronics, everything, right? That's a larger conglomerate, well diversified group of companies, right? Okay, so the story is not that, right? One of his observations, one day he has seen when he was passing by several people uh, flocking together in a one try show and then traveling. So that is what he has seen. So all were going to watch the movie, one family, right? So so he was feeling sorry about these guys. They wanted the entertainment, but in the meantime, didn't have a means of comfortable transport. Right? He was feeling sorry. And for that one, at that time he decided, I'll do something for these guys. Right? I being a rich person, entrepreneur, and then that is where explanation is. So the explanation. Why can't I make a car affordable for them? So that is where he started this one. Decided to introduce Tata Nano. Have you seen the Tata Nano car? Yes, even in Sri Lanka, it is available. So this is very important. Affordable. So at the initial stage, what was the price that he had earmarked for the vehicle? Price. Any idea? Anyone from the audience? How many are there in the online? So we have very limited people in the audience. Where that gadget? Nice. We'll give an opportunity to you. Any idea? The price?
1,100,000 rupees.
Indian 100,000 rupees. Yes, exactly. That is what he wanted. But actually, right. Actually, was it 100,000 rupees initially? 1 lakh. He couldn't make it for 100,000 rupees. Instead, it was couple of hundreds more than that, but still affordable to that community. Right. So my question is not that he succeeded in that. Look at the other three questions I am posing to you all. Right? Three questions. What was the specific reason for this particular action? What is the action? He being a billionaire, right? And then wanted to address the need of that particular community. Number one. What was the reason for his particular action? Second one, what external rewards might have reinforced his effort? Reinforced, right? Something strengthened. You understand the meaning, no? Reinforced his effort. Third one, what was his underlying drive? So that is a bit of a tricky word, underlying drive. So drive is something overarching meaning it has, right? So drive is where you have a drive to follow this MBA course. It is not a one-off activity, right? You have to toil for how many years? 2 years almost, right? So you should have a drive. Okay, so then there are three questions. I'll give you 5 minutes to answer these questions, right? Either you can do individually or jointly, right? Is the question clear? Our friends at the back, madam, clear? Right. How about you? That corner? Okay. So once again, if you are tech savvy, you can do it in the laptop or the mobile phone, right? Or take a piece of paper and then do it. Huh? Clear? Three questions. Right. Can I get the answer? Who has the mic? You have, no? Right. Madam, can I get the answer? You had the mic, no, with you? I saw him passing the mic to you. Ah, there you are. Right. You prefer the, yeah, better start with the first question, no? What are the specific reason for this particular action? Why it's not working? Working, no?
Maybe he wants to make a significant contribution for the Indian industry.
Significant contribution to the Indian industry. Which industry? Automobile industry.
Yeah.
Right, because there are various industries. No, it either you believe that his intention is to do something contribution to the Indian automobile industry. So that could be one, right? So then can you pass down the mic to the friend? Are you also believing the same thing or differently?
Actually focused on the automobile industry when he thought about this. Maybe the incident made him think he wants to make a difference, and probably that is connected to the automobile. He could have thought of improving public transport also. He had thought about solving the problem.
Right. May I ask you the question in that case? Why did he select this particular community? He should have done an SUV, right? Or another luxury vehicle. Nowadays, a hybrid vehicle or something, right? Anything sparks of with that intention, right?
Mr. A family two-wheel. So they were being wet and over. Probably since he has someone who has studied in US and has seen how people in their country, even though they are not rich, they are being able to afford a vehicle there. So probably he connected those experience and thought, why not in India?
Right. Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay. So then I gave the mic to you all. No, can you answer? One of you all answer. I'm talking only about the first one. Na? Just the on it. Just press it. Right. Okay.
I think so. He's a risk taker. He's like to do the innovation things and support the community.
So I am asking about the specific reason. So what I capture is your last word. Support the community. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it the reason? So this is the specific reason. Support.
Yeah. Main reason would be he's a risk taker.
He is a risk taker.
He is like to do the innovations.
Another term I got it. Innovation, right? So his intention, the reason is yes, do some innovation. Risk taking is anyway characteristic of your trait, right? That is within you. Whether you act or not, that is within you, right? Propensity is there, right? The other two words you mentioned, community, and the second one is the innovation. So is it? Those are the words, those are the reasons why he was manufacturing Tata Nano, right? You believe so, right? Can you pass the mic to, yes, the sideways? You have an answer, please. Go ahead.
Provide a safer car for poor people.
Poor people. Once again, right? He was feeling sorry about those guys, right? So that is compassion, isn't it?
Economy.
Said which drives. The reason is he was feeling compassionate on those people, right? Okay. Do you have answer, madam? Different answer? Okay, go ahead.
I see, sir. He likes to see the opportunities and take the advantage from those opportunities.
All right. He saw some poor people, right? Flocking to a three-wheeler, consider that as an opportunity to earn money, right? Or feel that these are people of some sort of a deprived set of people, and then just provide something, and then that is an opportunity. Need not be a business opportunity, but could be an opportunity, maybe due to a social need or something. Is it what you mean? I got it. So, okay. So like that, that is also I access. So can I get one more answer from another colleague? You pass it down. Yes, please. Yes, carry on. Yes.
he saw the potential of the untapped market of opportunities because people can't afford, and though they cannot afford, they have the ability to pay some money and buy some.
Yes, economic motive. So then he has seen economic is connected with the supply demand, scarcity of resources, all these. No, he has seen that deficiency and then decided to provide something to that particular segment, right? That is what you believe, right? Okay, so then that is we are asking what is the reason for this particular action, right? So I have got multiple answers. We will scrutinize those things a little later, right? Then what about the second one, right? Second one, what external rewards might have reinforced this effort. He had the effort, taken some action, right? Which pushed him towards that action, right? If the action had earlier been only in mind, what made him to get activated, right? So can you pass down the mic to your colleague? Yes, madam. Second question, huh?
He gained public recognition, of course.
Public recognition, right?
Business growth.
Second one is
And the business growth for his innovation.
number one is where you get the public recognition, right? Why do public recognize the fellow? He manufactured the vehicle.
Yeah,
Why?
but he provided an affordable and safer car
Hmm.
for the lower and middle income families.
Right. I would say safer mode of transport. Earlier, Trishow is considered not that safe, isn't it? Because they have opened, there are no doors, but here it is safe. Even if it in the rain, they can go comfortably. So that is safe. So with that one, people come to know that Ratan Tata has produced this type of thing, affordable to this type of community, and it is safer. So with that one, he gains recognition. Right. So that is what he achieves. Is it? Right, good. Okay. And now our mic is there, no? Right. It's all right. Right. So can I get another answer from your group? Madam, I didn't hear your voice. Huh? I didn't hear your voice. Right. Second one, nah?
Yeah, he's like he might want to have the brand reputation.
I'm talking about second one, nah? External rewards. Yes. Yeah.
He might want to have a corporate image.
Corporate image. So that is the reward. Mm-hmm.
And global recognition for doing something nice for the poor people.
Mm.
In like awards or something.
Yeah. What sort of awards? Innovator of the year, something like that, no? Right. Okay. So that is fair enough for because those things reinforced his action, right? So now we'll move on to, right, there can be other answers. We move on to the last one, right? The underlying drive. So any answers from your group, please? Would you like to answer? Last one. What was his underlying drive?
Empathy to poor families.
Sorry?
Empathy to poor families. Empathy to poor families.
Empathy to poor family. So that is that has driven him because that drive, that word embeds something sustainable, long term something. So continuously, because yeah, he's not going to produce one car, two cars, one batch, and then stop it. No, continuously doing that. Still we see those cars. No, right. So that is very good. Right. Okay. So another answer from the lady, please.
The need to improve life, like standard of life of other people.
Mm-hmm. Right. So then earlier also we were talking about that, and then there to make it in a sustainable manner. Is it what you mean? Right. Okay. Thank you. Because all of you all must be having the same type of answers. I don't think anything different to what your colleagues have mentioned. Anything different to what your colleagues have mentioned? You have any other answers? You have. Right, please. Wait, that can you mark down my? No, because this is otherwise your colleagues online, they won't answer.
So I think Ratan Tata, in the moment he made a nano, he's not a boy. He's a very matured and elderly person. But problem is those days in Indian community, in poor community, in automobile field, they are dictating in three-wheelers, trishaws, especially in Bajaj and TVS. But he know as a well-known
Businessman.
businessman, he know it's very difficult to defeat Bajaj and TVS. After he making Nano, still in the three-wheel market, he will share as same.
Yes.
But he found a way to make some similar duplicate production without with more facilities
features.
rather than three.
Right.
That's why he tried to do. But thing is, actual final figure is still threshold is same, but nanos fail.
Yes, that is there, because the thing is that sometimes that his intention would have been, right? Right. So, okay, so then I see some contra, your ideas is also good. So like that, where now we get a glimpse of an idea what the answers to these three questions are. In fact, the real answers lie within the construct that I have at the beginning highlighted. So if I move on to that one, so these three, right, in the same order: motive, motivator, and the motivation, right? So motive is, that is covering the first question, specific reason or need. So these are the definitions, right? These definitions, of course, I would say in all management construct, there are multiple definitions now. So I have picked the simplest definition here, right? And may not be academically valid, but academically, I don't say it is not valid. But the thing is, that's why I didn't mention any citation or references, right? So this is to get an idea. So what is meant by the motive is this: where reason or need that drive an individual to act, right? Those are the things which was covered in the question, right? Which drive him a particular goal. Now, how it was reflected in the scenario is, right, situational trigger. Can you all see at the end? Because in the PowerPoint, that font color is a little faint. You all can see now, right? Okay. So the situational trigger, because only in the situation, because the moment is spotted that. So those guys, right? Situational trigger, because compassion motive, driven by the compassion, right? Feeling sorry about some set of people. So motive is compassion motive, right? So then, in fact, it doesn't mean there were other motives. There were, but this is the prominent one. Now, this is not my finding, because this has been done by the researchers, and then they have interpreted. Case of Nano, of Ratan Tata, there were cases studied by the academics. So I have handpicked it from them. But there can be counter opinions, because cases are like that. No, because cases don't have right or wrong answers. It is the way you approach, support through the facts and theories. So under those circumstances, what they say is it is the compassion motive. So now you get an understanding on what a motive is. Our topic is motives for entrepreneurial action, right? Second one, question comes: motivator, actual incentive, and it is within brackets mentioned mostly external. So all these for the motivators, rewards, the reward that Ratan Tata was getting or expecting, as you said, recognition, etc., those are external. Someone from external world gives him the recognition, right? And if it is an award, as you said, that award is also being given by an external body. So those are external, but not necessarily be external always. Sometimes the fellow may be intrinsically getting motivated. That is why it's mostly external. Or techniques applied to spark action. So that is, as you said, recognition of society. Now, in a sort of a religious platform, the merits. Some people believe that if you have good deeds, then the good things will come to you, merits, right? Then thereafter, potential to win awards, as some of you all said. So those are the external rewards, which is covered under the term motivator. So the last one is motivation, which covered the third one. The broader construct that includes overall, red word is important. Motivation is a psychological process. Psychological, right? That initiates, directs, and sustains behavior towards achieving a goal, right? So that is the explanation, right? And what we see here is the enduring psychological drive. He set a vision for that one. Tata's vision. It says that uplifting society and innovating for accessibility, right? So you also have access to all these comforts. So that is the vision he has set, right? So there can be answers other than what I have mentioned. So these are the things I have captured from the case study, already studied, analyzed, right? And then here, this is psychological process. Process in the sense it is not a one-off activity, right? Process is a series of interconnected activities, right? So motivation includes a series of activities interconnected, right? So this is the definition of the three terms, and our term is tagged with another term called entrepreneurship. So we talk about entrepreneurial motive, entrepreneurial motivator, so on and so forth. So that definition is very easy to understand because basic definition is known. So motive of entrepreneurial action is today's topic, right? Refers to the specific reasons of, now here it adds the entrepreneur takes particular action. Earlier just action. Now it is entrepreneur's action. Now here motivate actual incentives, more entrepreneurial action, not just action, right? And the third one is also you have that term refers to refers to initial drive, energy, so on and so forth. Entrepreneurial activity. Once again, a cycle. Now we know the definition. So before coming into the definitions of the entrepreneurial motive, etc., we understood the basic term, right? With that term, we went into this, right, friends? Now, again, what is relevant for us? Why do we want to study all these things? Why do we need this, right? Again, the same reason, right? In our chapter on literature review, these definitions are fundamentally included. Before starting on the specific areas, it is good always to give the definitions, right? Even in the assignments, no harm including that. So then the reader knows that you understand the fundamentals, right? Okay, let us move forward. Now this is a mind map about the typical motives that the entrepreneurs have. There can be outside those, but those are the things which I captured through literature, right? Commonly applicable motives. Very easy to understand. By the way, why I call this a mind map? Can you understand why? Rather than calling it a diagram. Why mind map? Who has the mic in this area? Where is that mic? You have. I passed down one to this. You have, no? Right, okay. You have. Mic. You have, no? Last time you are the one, no. Can you kindly pass it down to your colleague there? Right, please. So my question is, why I call it a mind map? What is a mind map? Rather than calling it a diagram.
Mind map explain whole process.
Mind map explain the process, yes, but I would have written in a piece of paper in like a point form, no? That is not a mind map, no?
In a mind map, we can connect on each other.
Physically, right. So even if you close your eyes, right, this is what you depict in the mind. That is why you call the mind map, because for anything you can draw a mind map. The mind map drawn by you may be different to that of another person, because the purpose of a mind map is mentally connect all these things, right? And for you to, and it is very easy to remember. And if somebody asks, what are the motives of entrepreneurial action? Then if you remember this one, you drew something in the way your mind interprets. So those are the mind maps. So then all these lines are not straight lines. That's why those are agile, right? Crooked lines. Because then this can be relationship. These are related to, right? So there we see various, altogether 8 common motives, right? Starting with economy. Now these economic motives may be having several forms. Now my next exercise is even in your handout, right? I have created a table. In that table, right? First one I have explained. I have given some forms. Your task is to fill up the rest, right? So here, motives, all these things appeared in the mind map are there, right? And economic motive I have explained. So P&L independent is now motive, that is specific reason for a person to get activated. P&L independence means, right, a person believes I have the control over my expenses and my income. Fair enough, no? An entrepreneur, that's why a person leaves his job and become an entrepreneur. I am an employee at PIM, right? Can I increase my income in a formal way? No, because the salary is fixed, right? Even other sources of income that is fixed. So I don't have that freedom. Though I have the motive, I don't have the P&L independence. And my expenses, right? Expenses, of course, still there is a limit because I may like to go abroad, have a world tour, fly in business class, but still I can't afford because profit and loss, that independent is not there. So as long as I am employed somewhere, my income is limited. Entrepreneur may not be so. He doesn't have boundaries. So that is one reason, right? Motive is P&L independence. If he wants, right, he will spend. He will learn, he will spend. No boundaries. P&L independent means. Second one is economic necessity. Economic necessity, again, I am reminding, economic means all economics represents scarcity of resources, the supply demand, so on and so forth. You have learned in economic lesson, no? So then the thing is where supply and demand, you feel that there is a scarcity somewhere, right? Being an employee here, I can't supply, but entrepreneur believe that, okay, why not I start that, I venture into that one and then provide economic necessity. And then even sometimes a person might lose his job, can't survive, right? So in that case, there's basic necessities are not being satisfied, fulfilled. Haha, economic necessity. So like that, that is the forms of economic motives. Why a person becomes an entrepreneur? If it is economic motives, so two of those are those two forms. Likewise, friends, I invite you to fill up the rest. Think about in the same way, individually or is in the group, understand what the different forms are. Is this exercise clear? Any ambiguities? Clear, no? For everyone? Madam, you okay? Clear? Right. How about two of you all? Two of you all. Okay? Clear? My friend said the rear. Okay? You okay, no? Right. Okay, friends. I see that you have successfully all of y'all approaching. Right. Now, can I get the answer for the personal motives? Right. So, from this table. Yes, madam. Now, listen, friends. Our colleague is talking about the personal motives, forms. Must be on. Just tap it and then see. Araka press karan. On. Right. Batteries have gone on. Okay.
So, personalized achievement.
Achievement. Right. Can you elaborate on that? Achievement can be anything, no? Right.
As a person.
Take an example. An ordinary person becomes a businessman. Right. So you say that we say economic motive, we understand. Now the personal motive. What is the personal motive? That means definition is reason for that action. Yes. You said achievement. So what is the achievement?
Achievement of
Your personal aspirations. You may have set the personal goals. You want to achieve that. So no one can question that. So yeah, I want these things, those are personal to me. So that is your person.
achieving my dream or something.
Whatever it is personal to you. So no one question whether it is right or wrong question doesn't appear here. Ethical part doesn't come here. That is where simply your aspiration. Personal. Okay.
Achieve that we need passion, self-passion.
So that is those, of course, supporting factors. So initially what we are looking at is concentrating on the motive, right? So that is there, your personal motive you explained, right? Yes.
My core competencies,
Sorry.
knowledge, skills.
Right. So can you elaborate now your knowledge? So that is something you want to aspire, right? Get, gain, acquire. Now here, this is we are talking about your motive, right? Take that example. You want to become an entrepreneur.
For example, I am like to be a bakery. I'm sorry.
Start a bakery. Okay.
Bakery. My personal motive is my knowledge of the bakery items, cooking patterns, cooking skills, like you said. Competencies.
Okay, so then you want to the help that your the path towards your aspiration is acquiring knowledge, right? So the thing is that real motive is where you become a businessman, you become a bakery owner, right? So the reason for that one is when we ask that question, that knowledge element doesn't come there, but it may be applicable to the one down there. You have the professional thing, right? Professional motives. So there you are a person who knows this art of running a bakery. You have that professional knowledge. Then you start because then you think, hey, I have this knowledge. Why not I exploit that one? I am an engineer, construction. Why not I use my knowledge to build up my own business? So that is professional. So in this one, did not directly applicable. Okay, right. So now you see here in all these things, the reason for studying this one is in your group assignment and the individual assignment, you are supposed to study an entrepreneur. So the first one is you have to talk about his motive, because all entrepreneurs are not born entrepreneurs. No, they are not born like entrepreneurs. No. So either they would have worked somewhere and would have been employed and shifted their career to become entrepreneur. So you have to capture that in your assignment. You have to mention at a particular time they have shifted from the career, the employment corporate career, to the entrepreneurship. So that is where the motive is applicable. So you have to mention that one. Why he has done, what is the motive? So you have to capture it through one of those. So these are the things we expect you to incorporate in your assignment, right? And even the ESR piece, where you are starting your own business. Under the literature review, you have to mention what made you to start this business. So that is where the motive comes. Understand? Individual assignment, you are talking about yourself, an entrepreneur in time to come. There also you have to capture, yes, due to this reason, I have chosen this particular type of entrepreneurship, this particular business. There the motive has to be put it. Otherwise, it is just like a fiction novel, which is not the expectation at the master's level. So you have to put in something, some professional stuff, right? Academically valid stuff. So that is the input that I am giving you. Okay, so like that, now I will just show you with the interest of time what others have found. Once again, friend, it is not my findings, but what academic researchers have found against each. But those are not limited to what I display here. But along with that one, I will give you another exercise, right? So you will see another, those things are not appearing in your handout, right? The another column I create, right? Example, right? From the field of entrepreneurship. If you see some entrepreneurs possessing those things, right? Just get an example. Now here we see personal motives can be personal achievement, as you rightly said, right? And thereafter, autonomy. Autonomy. What is autonomy? Any idea? You being an entrepreneur, what is autonomy? Mic again, sorry, yeah, right. Autonomy. Friend, can you pass down the mic, please? Yeah. Yes. Right. You pass it down. Right. Wait, I will take it. Can manage, no, right? You like to answer, right? Right. Autonomy. Freedom. So prisoner getting freed, is it autonomy?
So about freedom.
Just press it, keep on pressing. Now is it lights on? No? Right, okay. Yes, autonomy. What is autonomy? Yeah, to freedom to a certain extent, right? Not 100% complete. Your answer is not 100% complete. Freedom, yes. What is it? Freedom of choice, freedom of decision making, freedom of behavior, etc. Right? So not just freedom. So that is autonomy, right? So do entrepreneurs want autonomy? Is it a motive? Right? And now with that one, can you quote an example of an entrepreneur who was driven by that one? Main motive is personal, but that is autonomy. A person, right, leaving his job, and imagine the fellow you have chosen for your group assignment. You ask on what basis you have decided to become an entrepreneur. He might say that I want to be my own boss. I don't want to work under any other person. That is the autonomy. So you might capture those things when you interview the fellow, right? So if I just mention some example, so my background is engineering, but after that I was working in a bank now. So we meet various customers. So we had a set of customers, a company, right? Of course, formed by a person who was in Jadavpur University in my parallel. So he and his two colleagues, same batchmates, have formed a company, apparel company. So they were running, and then eventually by the bank I worked had provided them some credit facilities. So we noticed that when I followed up, I noticed that the fellow is always in arrears, 2 months in arrears, paying on the last day, right? So then one day I told him that now look, you are paying with the penal interest, which is substantially high. You would have retained that one. And in the meantime, So every time all of you people are, whenever I call, you are not there. You have gone somewhere. So even to follow up your areas, etc., I was trying to help you, but you is no cooperation from you. So I said, no, I, with all these my managerial terms, the finance terms, I read the ROI, now see your ROI. I have his all his accounts now with that one. I computed and then showed him, this is your ROI. So imagine with this ROI, can you consider your business as viable, right? It is your liquidity ratio. So with that one, can you believe? So like that, with all these credentials, I was telling him. He said, I know my ROI is less. I know that I'm in the I know that I'm paying with interest. He asked me, so what? It's like, so what? So that is my problem. So you don't have to bother about that. I said, no, I have to bother about it because these things are getting late, but I'm paying you with interest. So that was his answer. He said that is the very reason why I became an entrepreneur. So when I was working as an accountant in a particular company, every time my boss says that, so you look, you pay these banks, everybody on time, and then look at the salaries, etc. So what a nuisance. So I thought I will leave the company and then start my own firm and then work the way I want to work. So that's what he said. And then he said, he gave another nice answer. He said, now you guys, right, after getting this employment, now you are in AC rooms with all these luxuries. He said, I am not like that. That is why I can't answer your calls because I go there. I too have to collect some dues from my customers. So I am on that one, right? He said, now see, I have provided employment to 2,000 people in all my garment factories. He asked, to how many people you have provided employment? I had provided only one, that is to servant at my home, right? So he said, now that is what I am looking at personal, right? Personal motives. At the end of the day, I'm happy that I have provided employment to 2,000 people, right? So those are the things which entrepreneurs are driven by personal. Why is personal? For me, it is not a positive factor, but for him it is, right? And those are the things, friends, you have to incorporate in your assignments. When you describe the motive that particular entrepreneur you have chosen, then you have to incorporate those with evidences, right? How many of you are doing case study? You are doing case study? Final option, case study. I think altogether there are, you are doing case study, no? So there you are studying a particular company, and then that one you are drawing a timeline. There definitely you have to talk about the entrepreneur behind that particular company, right? Have you chosen a particular company for that? For your case study, have you chosen a company? Right. So in that one, definitely you have to interview the fellow and thereafter talk about those are the areas where you have to capture in the case study. There's a case narration to be written down, right? After the case narration, then you have to support it by evidences. Finally, you have to match with the theories. So this is where you are talking when you talk about the motives of that fellow. That will be done in a bit of a comprehensive way than what you capture in the assignment. Okay, so this will be directly helpful. Right, friends. Okay, then other things I'm not going to dwell much on. Social motives, community development, social impact, right? Is it a motive? Some people want, right? Dr. A.T.R. Ratna, was he driven by profit? No, right? To make a dent in the society. And similarly, these professional motives I mentioned about, say, somebody professional for his career, so on and so forth. Visionary motives, right? So that is long-term future. So then you understand now what I want, friends, is an example of a known entrepreneur in each of these areas, right? Shall we spend about 3 minutes and then get at least one in each category, right? Clear? Understood? Okay. Example. Clear, no? You okay? Right? Has anyone found, right? I was talking about the first one, no, right? Personal one. Other than the example I mentioned about that my parallel batchmate, Jawaharlal University, somebody driven by the personal motives. Any other person, may not be Sri Lankan, no, any other, right?
Yes. For the personal motives, I would say like comfortable as a good example.
Uh-huh.
This is of course based on this university is a final project so that we have to take fashion and
Yes.
make like something sometimes it is not a very like Mr. Gandhi.
No, because that is they are at a startup level. Is he the person we have chosen for the your assignment? Ah, right. Okay. Right, friends. Now, but anyway, right. You have found people? Ah, very good. Longer list. Right. I will find. Can I have the mic, please? Right, please. Right, talk. So, fortunately, this group has filled up all cases. Right, okay. Right, start with the personal. Sorry, economic. No, it's all right. You can follow any order.
We already wrote personal motives,
Hmm.
Kotara. So
Kotara. So, why do you call it personal motive?
she started with the small,
Small.
came up with the like
How?
large.
How small? That is, he had gone to garment factories and then thereafter collected.
Started
Hmm.
with the initially
Yes.
some
Gone to all garment factories because all these export garment factories, there is a quota in the sense that they are supposed to X number of units, but the material they had was more than that. So definitely those things they were allowed. All these BOI companies, they were allowed the particular percentage be sold locally. So then she has collected. So no one had tapped that particular market at that time. So she had done that, and thereafter, okay, carry on.
for social motives, we took like Sarvodaya
Yeah, Dr. Area. Dr. Area, yes.
and the professional motives as Neville Fernando.
Neville Fernando, Dr. Neville Fernando. Ah, right, okay. Right. So was he successful? No, he was. Right. Yeah, but only thing he is a person having a wealth, family-owned wealth, no? Because not purely a self-made person, right? So then his family was wealthy, lot of properties in Colombo, right? That provided the seed capital. No, it's all right because that is where he has started all these items, etc. No, okay.
So visionary motives, we took Mariel Fernando, like
Yes, MJF, yes,
as well as Steve Jobs,
yes. Why visionary?
Dilma.
Yes.
Like they invented more flavors to keep
Yeah,
industry.
visionary always friends. Now, visionary means, right, where you are looking at a longer time horizon, right? So, in that case, we are looked at the tea consuming market, their desires, their wants and needs, and cater to that one, right? Carry on, yes.
For opportunity driven, Richard Branson.
Richard Branson, yeah. What is the opportunity? Richard Branson. What is the company he was in? Virginia, right? Okay. So what is the opportunity he had seen? Sorry. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Richard Branson is anyway an entrepreneur, So because that is an entrepreneur, right? Okay. Right, because there's a combination. So that is a wonderful point that you all have pointed out because there is a wider overlap on this one. Because all entrepreneurs are not driven by a single motive, multiple motives, situationally, certain things become prominent, right? All entrepreneurs go seek opportunities. So definitely they have the motive, opportunity seeking, but in certain instances, certain other motives become prominent. So that is a wonderful discovery in this one. Yes, please. Carry on.
For family and cultural motives, we took Ambani.
Which Ambani? Dinesh Ambani or Mukesh Ambani? Yeah, right. Otherwise, Metropolitan local Ambani is also there, right? Yes.
Psychologically motives like Elon Musk.
Why psychologically? Huh? Sorry. Right. Okay. Good, right. All the psychological forces driven by psychological. So here it is given here, no psychological passion for field, so on and so forth, challenge, etc. Right. So that's all. Okay, right. So then they are, with the interest of time, I am not asking all of you all, right? But I will give another exercise for you all, right? To identify, because our topic is the motives of entrepreneurial action. So we will be dwelling a lot on the motive, not because of that, because this will be helpful in your assignment, right? So I am supposed to give some input for your assignment because last time also I couldn't do. So Dr. Avispera specifically told me to do so. So that's why I am just giving an extra stuff for you all, right? So in that case, I need half of your marks you are getting from the assignment, right? Right. Okay, so I will just show you some visuals, right? So you identify these fellows, no? So it is given in the handout as well, right? So the thing is that you know this person, that who is that person? Warren Buffett, right? What is his business? Investment, right? Not a particular thing manufacturing or anything, but he's an investor. And the other person, second, with the logo you can identify, no? Howard Schultz, Starbucks, right? Starbucks is what? Coffee, right? So the EC, the owner of Starbucks, is you are the coffee person, no? Right? Your competitor, right? Not you, right? Right, okay. So Starbucks story that it is not, he is not the founder, right? He is not the founder. You can read that story. There was a book, I don't know, in the library, our library it is there. Now the library is closed, no, right? Okay. uh, because now he was working in a coffee company in America and he had a tour in Italy. And he has found that their coffee shops are much more advanced than the American coffee shops. So a lot of flavors, the way they are serving, etc. A lot of innovation could have been done, right? So he came and suggested that to his bosses. And bosses said that, okay, we want to implement. If you want to implement, you start your company and implement. So that was the answer. So his response was, yes, I do that. So then he opened another company and then did whatever the thing, but the task was not easy, right? Task was not easy. So he underwent a lot of hardships, but he did so. He did it in such a way, earn profits, and then eventually bought the Starbucks company, right? He bought the Starbucks. So with that one, because there he had some passion, right? Somehow I will succeed. So this is a challenge. Boss said that, okay, if you want to implement, you start your own company and do it. Yes, I will do it. So with all these things, right? Who is this person, by the way? Professor Yunus, Mohammed Yunus, you heard about the person, right? Heard about Professor Yunus? Grameen Bank, right? So the Grameen Bank is somewhat similar to exercises, work was somewhat similar to Sarvodaya, right? In Bangladesh, of course, we are covering about that activity in a different topic in the module toward the latter part. So we'll be touching all these microfinancing, like so the people who were deprived of getting the bank facilities entering into banks. So he provided a mechanism for that one, that is through the Grameen. And this person, no, right? Mark Zuckerberg, and then even very famous after the COVID period, Zoom, right? Eric Yuan, and you were already talking about Mukesh Ambani, and thereafter Bill Gates. Now this person is Mlesna and Slam Pereira, right? So he also did a similar thing like the Dilma MJF, right? Okay, so what are their main motives? Now you know about their stories to a certain extent, not 100%, right? So then now, can you figure out what their motives are? We have been talking about few motives now, right? So what were the prominent motives? There can be multiple motives, as I have said. So what were the motives? Where is the mic? Is there a mic in that area? Ah, yeah, thank you. Right. Friend, can you answer? Yes. So those who haven't gotten opportunity to answer, please don't get angry with me. Yeah, right. Right. So you can handpick any person of your choice and tell what the motive is, right? Whom you like to pick up out of them. Do you use Facebook always? Then select Zuckerberg, right? Any social media. No, it's all right. You have your choice, huh? Right? Right.
Well,
Okay.
actually, Sahabar,
Mm-hmm.
opportunity driven motive.
What is the opportunity?
He shows there is a lack of engagement within the role.
Yes. People want to have networks, right?
Yeah.
Get connected. And then that need was there. But there was no mode of that one. So he provided the platform for that one. Initially in a smaller way, but later on developed. Very good, right? Okay. So now your opportunity. Second one. Any other person of your choice. Easiest person is Professor Yunus, right? Was his motive economics? Earn money? No. Because his story is he opened a door for the people who couldn't get bank facilities, so bank finances, so finances through formal channels, right? So he opened the door for them. So in that case, what is that motive? Profit motive, economics? No, right? So then what could it be? He is settled in the society, right? Then what is that motive? Social, that's it. That's a social motive. So like that, where you can identify, can you pass the mic to our friends there? Yes, yes, please, there. Sorry, I missed you all earlier. Sorry, don't get angry with me. Right. Okay, please. Right. Which one? Yeah, what is it? Social,
Christian,
visionary. Why you call it visionary?
we have to dream.
It should have a future time horizon, not immediately now, right? So there he has foreseen that one. That is what you believe, no? Right. Is it? Right, okay.
Eric, you are opportunity driven motives.
Opportunity driven. Is it?
Uh,
Was the Zoom came into
COVID period.
use after the COVID, or was it there before that? So our IT guys know the answer, right? Was it there before that?
But
Why he has developed that one? That also may be falling into visionary thing, no? Because in future there should have been a demand for this type of a thing. Could be. So like that, when now you understand where it is the way you argue sometimes, right? But only thing now you get an understanding on what the so-called motives, no? Isn't it? So if I just put it right here with the information that I have gathered from the researchers, it comes like this, right? So the description, no? So with this description, if we go, right? So where what they say is predominantly, predominantly. So this person, right, always he goes by the economic motives because he's an investor. He invests in other companies. So in that case, when he invests, he needs a return on that one. always going by mathematics, number crunching. So in that case, he balances, right? So then motive would be economics. And then if you look at this person, now he had a passion, and in the meantime, he got a challenge from the former boss, right? So therefore, predominantly psychological. There can be other, but predominantly this is. So similarly, this person, right? So they are the Dhirubhai Ambani's company, son, elder son. So like that, there it is family, culture, right? But afterward, there could have been different other motives which are cropped up. When you study your entrepreneur, right, you interview the fellow, you interview his subordinates, other connected parties. In the case study, you do a series of interviews, right? Focus group interviews, individual interviews, in-depth interviews, so on and all series of interviews. So different perspectives may come up. With that one, you might prove that even if you happen to interview this fellow, right? So it may be a different motive, depending on what you reveal, even in your individual assignment, rather group assignment, right? You can point out, hey, this person is driven by this motive, depending on the facts that is revealed. So you have to show the facts and then come to the conclusion, hey, this is the motive that our employee, the chosen employee, the entrepreneur, was predominantly driven by. That is how it is working. Okay. So like that, there are opportunities, so on and so forth, because there can be the contradictory opinions. But anyway, I am just talking to giving you the way it is to be determined, right? So now we get a vivid understanding on what the motives are, right? Okay, let us move forward. Now the next one is, right? Now these motives lead to what? Right? After motive, then there is something action, no, right? So then action is always connected to a process, right? So then now we see what is the process connected with these motives, right? So now I am asking you again what a process is. What is a process? What is a process? A series of interconnected activities, right? So for example, now see now, do you want to get the MBA? Yes. Is it a one-off activity? No, it's a process. What is the process of getting the MBA? Can you answer? What is the process of getting the MBA?
Get selected for the MBA.
Sorry?
Again, first thing is get selected.
Selected, yes. Yeah, you apply, come for the whatever the interview or whatever it is, right? Selection.
Go through the 2-year program and they have
Yes.
several subject to.
Yes. And satisfy the criteria. Exams, assignments, final project, viva, so on and so forth, right? Now you don't have the attendance rule. No, earlier, nowadays we had the attendance rules also, 80% attendance, right? Now it is not so, fortunately, right? And after that, though, that is with that one, after finishing everything, is that all? Convocation. Yeah, once after that only, you are formally considered an MBA. So that is the process, right? So likewise, an ordinary person becoming an MBA person, similar to that one, an ordinary man becoming an entrepreneur, there is a process that is called the process of entrepreneurship. Now we'll see all these motives should lead to or connected to entrepreneurial process. Now we see what that process is. Various scholars have introduced different processes. Now I will show you three most prominent processes, right? If you go to the web, refer articles, there should be different processes. I will show you three most prominent processes. One is, right, of course, this may not appear in your handout, right? Right, so this one is these two have introduced this one, innovation, triggering event, implementation, and growth, right? Now you would have read a lot of journal articles, no? In a journal article, you have citations. In the citations, you have the name as well as another one. What is that other one which is there in the citation? The year. Now here there are 2 years now. Why is that? The reason is initially these were developed by the first person. Second person had modified it, right? This is actually not a citation. So this is the name of the model. When the model is introduced, they put it in that way, right? So later modification had come in 2011 by the second author, right? So this is that process. So it is self-explanatory, right? But only thing, what is the triggering event? What is meant by the triggering event? Any idea? Yes, my friend. Yes. Triggering event. Are all events triggering events?
No, sir.
Hmm.
He inspired.
Yeah, as the name given, somebody like kicking you, no? Once somebody kicks you, you get look at is behind who is the fellow who had kicked me, So there is a triggering event. So entrepreneurs have a triggering event at a particular point, and then he will say, now there is a point of no return. I will do this one. Understood, right? Okay. So what is the final project you are doing? Not yet decided, but you would have applied for the proposal. Yeah, what is the proposal you have, to which proposal you have applied for? Right. Were you selected for that one? Right. So in that case, you feel that I can't just wait. I have to find another option. Right. So in that case, where you quickly go for the MFRP or something, no, isn't it? MFRP label alone is not enough. You have to find a company. So you have to get activated because the revised proposal has to be submitted soon. And you have to go for classes, the sessions. For that, you have to decide, right? So that is a triggering event. Okay, right. Right, friends. So the second one is where it is not as long as that one, that is Chain and Venkatraman. Right. For this one, it is only 3 steps, but in those steps, the former things are almost embedded in, right? Now look at the opportunity discovery, so on and so forth. Chain and Venkatraman. There is another one that I was interested in putting it 5 steps. It has 5 steps, right? So this is the one where I am particularly interested in because this has a lot of other explanations. Look at this one, opportunity recognition, right? Opportunity driven motive. With that one, you get the opportunity recognition. Feasibility screening. Early, it was not specifically mentioned. Feasibility screening. Rather, resource assembly. You need the resources. Developing the business and the harvesting. Finally, get the reaping out of what you have toiled, right? So that is it. So this process, of course, there are other than such other processes, but we take this process. Now look at how the motives apply in each of these stages, right? Take only handpick only the third one. That one I have given in the handout. That diagram, of course, this is available in the web. This is not what I have created. I have straight away taken the copy from the web. If you access the internet, then you will see this one, right? And they are these authors, right? And then they have given what are the motives associated with each of these steps. Now, my friends, when you talk about in the assignment, your entrepreneur, you have to draw this process. You have to select either any of those things which I have displayed there. Or else if you have picked up any other thing in the internet or any other article, you must show that this is the process of the chosen entrepreneur. Again, in the individual assignment, also you are projecting yourself as an entrepreneur. In that one also, you have to show this would be my process of entrepreneurship, right? So with that one, you are gradually telling the reader, right? So this is, I am following a step-by-step approach. The entrepreneur I have chosen has followed a step-by-step process. In fact, all entrepreneurs had followed a step-by-step process, but when you ask, it would have been done absent-mindedly. Even if you ask step by step, he might say that no, I haven't followed such a thing. But actually, in retrospect, if you analyze, he would have followed, but he wouldn't have known that he is following such a methodical steps. Right? Those are the things that you have to capture in the assignment. Right? Any process you select, and thereafter show in each step what are the applicable motives. Right? So that one is, then it is clear that you study the fellow, right? In the case study also, it is not specifically, but only thing by studying in this way, where you can talk about certain in the case study where we draw their timeline over a period of 10 years, 15 years, etc. Their entrepreneurial journey, the company's journey, and then you see sudden upheavals, right? Going up, certain things coming down. When certain things are going up, then you have to explain what these reasons behind that. So it could be the particular change of the motive, so on and so forth. This will be helpful. Okay. So when you are doing in the workshop, that will be taught. Right. Okay. So then with that one, we see what we do. We understood the motives. We then connected the motives to the entrepreneurial process. Why we connected? 2 reasons. One is we want to put that in our assignment. Second one is, of course, we really study how the fellows, how the dynamics are. Right. So with that one, if we proceed further, right, now the process motives have now their desired outcome. Now with all these things, what do entrepreneurs want to do? We talk about the desired outcomes. In that one, there we talk about all entrepreneurs want to reach the success now. So they are the success. Now they are an uphill task, right? How do you determine whether fellows are success? Success we determine in three steps, three ways rather. First a way is the micro level success. Very simple. So as the name implies, your success is measured survival, minimum ROI. Now here entrepreneur's personal level success, right? He talks about his own success, personal success, not others' success. Second level is meso level, but in literature, you very seldom see this term. Instead, they spoke about the mediocre success or average success, etc. Right? So meso level is something in between, just after the micro. So there he's talking not about personal success, but he's talking about business goals achieved, organizational success. And earlier minimum ROI, now is reasonable ROI. Next level is the macro level success. So the macro level is now he is the author who had introduced all these levels of success. Macro level is where it is understood where you are talking about business sustainability, triple bottom line, so on and so forth. Macro level, as the name implies. Right. So entrepreneur got motivated, motives were there, he was in the process. Process leads to what? The success. Again, when you talk about the entrepreneur you have chosen in your assignment, you have to talk about the success at what level, is the micro level, meso level, or macro level, right? So that is how you connect that to the assignment, right, friends? Now, the facts are the reality through research. What we have found was this. Less than 10% new ventures reach macro level in less than 10 years of operation. Meso level is also the same, but this, of course, is alarming. 80% either close down or remain at micro level, especially in developing countries like Sri Lanka, right? Developing countries like Sri Lanka. So here we have a responsibility as academics and those who have studied entrepreneurship, right? By way of mentoring these people, assisting these people, even the banks, right? Providing something other than the financial facilities, right? To raise these fellows up, raise the entrepreneurship up, help the entrepreneurship development further. But I am asking question, why? Is it a real responsibility on us? Why should we help entrepreneurs to develop? Is it a necessity? Is it a responsibility on us? What do you believe, my friend? Yes, madam. Should we or should we not, right? Should we shoulder that responsibility? Isn't it the government should do?
Both government and ourselves have to support this because they, in different ways, because they contribute to GDP as well, create new jobs, and with all these aspects, they do something to the society. So it is all of our responsibility to support them.
Right. If you refer any article on the entrepreneurship, right, more than 90% of the articles talk about the importance of entrepreneurship, right? So all these things are to the positive side. Yes, they are important to the country. They are the people who provide employment, right? If there are no entrepreneurs, government can't provide all employment. No. In good old days, we had a socialistic regime, socialistic government. So in Russia, China, etc. There the government is shouldering all the responsibilities, but that system is no longer there. Therefore, it is to be partly shouldered by the other people, general public, and then they are the community called the entrepreneurs. So that is their presence is a necessity. And for that one, we too have a responsibility in helping their development. If I am in a bank, my bank has a responsibility other than earning profits to help the entrepreneurs develop. If I am a consultant, if I am a lecturer, I am a responsibility to teach the people to run a business in a profitable or acceptable manner, sustainable manner. So all of us can contribute, even if I'm an employee of a company, then if I spot something, if I, with my knowledge of entrepreneurship, help the fellow owners, managers, etc., to run that business in a profitable way. So that is at our level. But in a macro level, there is another set of objectives, what we call is where I will just introduce that one, right? So for the economy, yes, as you rightly said, they contribute to the GDP, right? And then here there is a concept called, right? So that is something called the middle income trap, right? So most of you all would have heard about the middle income trap. So that means now in the world, all countries can be categorized into low income, high income, middle income, so on and so forth. So the way the classification goes on is where depending on the per capita GNI, gross national income, some of course consider the per capita GDP, right? So depending on whatever the measure you take, they categorize the countries. So we have a particular sort lower than a particular US dollar, that value is low income. Then in the middle income, they divide into two, lower middle income and upper middle income. And after that, we have after that threshold, there we have the high income countries, right? And the phenomenon that they have observed is most countries successfully cross from lower to the middle, but get eternally trapped in the middle level. They can't cross the boundaries of the middle income. So they are there. Very few countries like Singapore, South Korea, they have surpassed. But vast majority is still over a period of many decades still hanging on to middle level, that is called the middle income trap, right? So statistics of Sri Lanka, in your handout I have given the statistics for 2003, but here I found the latest, that is 2024 CBSL news, right? With that one it is 4404. But some people say that now it is more than that, could be, but this is what the CBSL in their annual report has published, right? Central Bank. So here now see we are still in the lower middle. Earlier we were there upper, but we slipped down to lower middle, right? So if the government want the country to raise above that one and then one fine day get rid of the middle income trap and then go to the high income level, that is in the hands of the entrepreneurs. So researchers, with number of researchers, they have found the way out is promising way to move out is, right, homegrown innovation and high value services. So that researcher in 2016, they have found some countries, if it is Singapore, South Korea, all countries which have crossed over and then got rid of the middle income trap, when they harp on these two, homegrown innovation and high value services, these are the two fundamental activities that entrepreneurs do. Therefore, role of the entrepreneur is predominant, right? That is predominant. So more entrepreneurs should have become entrepreneurs, so on and so forth, right? That is why we have part of the responsibility education by way of ESRPs, by way of case studies, so on and so forth, right? Okay, for that one, we should understand the motives, how a non-entrepreneur transform into an entrepreneur. So that is why we are learning this one. Right, friends, if we move forward. So this, of course, I am not going to dwell because like entrepreneurial motivation, motivate, and there are two other constructs which are go in a similar in hand. So one is entrepreneurial intention, otherwise is entrepreneurial orientation. So you may come across these two in your journal articles. So I'm not going to read much on that. Now we'll move on to, right, theoretical perspectives. I said I'll be introducing 12 theories, right? So this is one such theory. Why we want to have these theories? One is to study the behavior of entrepreneurs and then to have a framework to develop these people. Why we should develop? We got the reason for that one, right? Because to avoid the middle income trap in a macro way. Other than that, of course, where these people provide employment, so on and so forth, right? So this is a powerful theory for this one. Definitely you would have come across, right? Especially those who are doing research would have read this one, theory of planned behavior, very old theory, right? So this, as it explains, so there are three areas, attitudes, right? Subjective norms, perceived behavioral control. If these three are coming together, then of course, where you need the achievement, right? So then they are to achieve. So your behavior is conditioned by this, right? How does it apply to an entrepreneur? How does it apply to an entrepreneur? So I will give an example for that one. That of course is not coming in your handout, I believe. Right. Look at this gentleman. Right. Warren Buffett, his business is, as you said, investment. The income earned by Warren Buffett or entrepreneurial journey, entrepreneurial activities of Warren Buffett can be explained through theory of planned behavior. For that one, let us move back and then see what the theory of planned behavior says. There are three areas: attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioral control. Attitude, we understand what? Attitude, we understand, no? Forget about the middle one, then what is the perceived behavioral control, right? So, behavioral control, you separate the words, you control your behavior, right? Do you control your behavior? Yes, in the class we control. At home we not, right? So imagine somebody smoking. He want to smoke, but in the class, will he smoke? No. So he control his behavior. So that is perceive behavior control. He understand that, hey, I have to control this one, right? So that is one. And then other one, this subjective norms is, right? There are norms, right? So the norms are, we should come in a proper attire to the class, right? And then in religious, under religious circumstances, if you are going to a religious place, of course, you have to remove your slippers, you have to remove your hats, etc. So like that, those are norms. Some norms are subjective, right? Depending on the circumstances. Some people say that, okay, if you want to meet a head priest, of course, then you have to wear white. Some people are not that particular, subjective. So like that, those are the subjective norms. So these are the three areas where, which will finally drive some person's of his behavior, final behavior towards success, business success, or personal success, whatever you call it, right? So he planned his behavior in such a way that these three are embedded in that activity. So we take the example for Warren Buffett. He is a successful businessman. Now the way he runs his businesses, how he uses the theory of planned behavior. So that is the exercise. Why we want to do so, right? In our the assignment or in the case study, right? We find that, okay, this person has been successful. This is how he behaves, right? Behavior. So we explain the fellow's behavior through theory of planned behavior. Due to these the things are satisfied. So we believe that the fellow is fitting into theory of planned behavior. So that is how we connect the dots, right? So that is what is expected in the assignment or final research or whatever it is. Now we will see, we take an example for Warren Buffett. You can take the example for the entrepreneur you study, right? And then explain. So that is what is expected at the master's level, no? Otherwise, it is just a narration, just a story. Just like a reporter writing an article in the newspaper about the success of a particular businessman. We go beyond that one. We inject certain academic stuff into that one, right? So here, now see how we, right? So I will give us that as an exercise to you, right? You try to plug in whatever the information you gather about these three areas, right? Subject norms, the attitudes. So look at the attitude that you know about Warren Buffett, right? Attitude you know about the Warren Buffett, right? Then the subjective notes about norms that he follows as far as you know about him, right? And right. So, friend, what I believe is, with the interest of time, right, I will just show you some researchers, those who have studied Warren Buffett, taken him as a case study, and then what they have found. So, once again, friend, these are not my findings, right? I am not that competent in analyzing Warren Buffett, but still, I gather the information that other past researchers have done. So, why I am showing this is, right, you can use the same thing, right, replicate that to the entrepreneur you select in your assignment, right? Okay. Not only assignment, and then thereafter you may have some other work. You may be doing the mentoring of entrepreneurs, and maybe ESRP people. You are mentoring yourself. See whether those are there within you, right? Okay. So attitude towards behavior, right? So one is where now this is through the Warren Buffett. That book is there in the library. His biography called Snowball or something, right? You can read it and capture, right? Then there are attitude, positive attitude towards value investing, right? So there are people. How many of you all invest in the share market, stock market? Do you invest stock market? Any person who is investing in the stock market, you must be doing, no? Yes, my friend. Stock market you are investing? Right. So earlier I was investing actively, but later on due to certain reason, I can't burn my fingers now, right? Okay, so then the way Warren Buffett invests, what we want is to invest something. The moment I invest, I is looking at how it is appreciating. Right? If it comes to my mark figure, then I sell it and then get it. Our friend is not so. He called it value investing, not a smaller, shorter time horizon. Right? So then he looked at the value, the company, how the company creates value, right? How the company creates value. Value capture, value creates. You understand those things? No? Last time we discussed, no? Right. He looks at those things and then decides, right? And thereafter, whether to buy the stock or not, he is not looking at the day-to-day movements of the values, right? So that is his attitude, right? And for that, he needs patience, right? So some people, of course, are really agitated when the share is falling down, whether this go for a nosedive or something. No, he is not bothered. He has patience. Let us see, right? So that is his attitude. Look at the second one, the norms. So that is once again not my interpretation. These what the researchers have done. So they call it something, contrary. On the contrary means opposite. So this term is the person who is behaving in a contrary way, opposite way, right? That is the word here, right? Ignores herd behavior. When others do, I do. No, not that behavior, right? So therefore, he himself analyzes in a different angle, not the herd behavior, not others do. And the other one is, now why is called the subjective norm? So there is a norm, right? When all others are doing in that way, better we too follow that way. Otherwise, we'll burn our fingers. That was the norm. We see all the shares are coming down, then of course that means a lot of people are selling. We too should follow suit. He doesn't do so. Going again, that subjective norm. His subjective norm is that. Independent thinking, resist market noise. So noise, speculation. So all these brokers sometimes put notes, some analysts, of course, write down the notes, articles, etc. He is not bothered about that, right? So his norm is, I will analyze my portfolio, my behavior, my expectation is the way I want. So that is his norm, right? Last one, perceived behavioral control. This is very important. He has specifically mentioned, first of all, I should know what that particular business is. If I don't have the knowledge, I will not invest. That share may be appreciating 100 times or 200 times. Still, if I don't have the knowledge in that area, I will not. Right? So that is his perceived, how he controls. Right? You get the temptation. You see that, hey, share is appreciating. Why not I also earn a quick buck? He cuts down that temptation, controls his behavior. No, I will not, right? And apply margin of safety. That is also very important, right? Buying at a price low enough to provide, right, cushion for errors and judgment, right? So then he decides what the price. Okay, if something I lose, yes, it's all right. So later on, we are talking about another theory of effectuation. Even that also, in that also, this particular thing comes up, right? So this is how we analyze our friend. In your case, the entrepreneur you select, if you put him into the theory of planned behavior, you look at all these three dimensions and then see how his behavior is. You don't have to capture all the theories in your assignment, right? You may select one. So I will be giving some other theories. No, you handpick one which is comfortable to you, one or two, and through that you analyze. And if you get contradictory opinions, in that case, you go for a third one and then justify that fellow's entrepreneurial victories, right? So that is what he said. Case studies, it is different. Case study, you have series of events, milestones, achievements. So each one you can say in certain things in the case study you see in this journey, sometimes that fellow is coming down, not a growth always, right? So under such circumstances, you can explain it because he has not followed according to theory of planned behavior. If you select that particular theory, according to that theory, he has not followed this particular thing. Subjective norm is this, but what he has done is to the contrary. How you find it is not an easy task. You interview people focus group, and then not only the entrepreneur, his subordinates, customers, so on and so forth. Then only you gather the information and then come to the conclusion that, hey, this fellow had gone against this theory. That is the reason why he has achieved that negative growth. So that is what we do. Okay. So, right. So then there's another exercise. I'm not giving it to you. So my exercise is, identify any entrepreneur and explain. That is what you are going to do in your assignment. So therefore, I'm not giving as an exercise. Right. So now you feel that assignment is a difficult one. Right, friends. Now, I have dealt a lot on the theory of planned behavior, but other theories I will not. I will just touch upon and then glide over. So, next one is where this particular, it is in fact not rather, not than a theory, it's more or less a model, right? So, here it is simply I have given you the example. So, simply what they say is there are two elements which are coming, motivation influences, pursued desirability and feasibility of starting a business. It comes only for the starting of the business, right? So here it is self-explanatory. I told the story, desirability, he wanted to start it, and then he found it feasible. This element was not discussed, right? Feasibility. And entrepreneur should see idea may be fabulous, fascinating, but if it is not feasible, it will be a nosedive. So like that, where finally you analyze, and then finally only the intention for venture creation. This theory doesn't go beyond that. You develop an intention. So rest of course is taken care of by different theories. Okay, right. So then we look at other theories. I am just gliding over that is given in your handout, right? So one is that need for achievement theory, right? Need for achievement. It simply says that if you have the need, then you are driven by that one. No, it is need not be entrepreneurial theory. But in general, this is a motivational theory, achievement need, David McLaren. Then we have the drive reduction theory. So drive reduction is where if you have some feeling, negative feeling, any biological need, anything, you try your level best to fulfill that need, isn't it? Now I am thirsty. After talking, I am thirsty. I have a bottle of water. I take it, open it, and then drink. Now am I thirsty again? Now it has reduced. Drive reduction. My drive for seeking water has reduced. Similarly, entrepreneurs do so because if they want, they are eager to find money. If they want to get the recognition, etc., all these motives, they are driven by the motive. If they are short of that one, right? They do everything to reduce that one. Drive reduction. So that's what this theory says. Vis-a-vis a normal person, entrepreneur does it very in a powerful way, quicker way, right? So that is what this theory says. Okay, then cognitive dissonance. That is also a new theory. So there, of course, it is where explanation is given, right? Actually, what does it mean is, right, where you have two ideas or alternatives or anything, right? So in that case, if you have chosen one, right, you are foregoing the other one. So in that case, you might, repent. Ayyo, I should have done that one, no? So like that, where internally you have dissonance, right? You are not happy. I have missed that opportunity, right? You repent. So what entrepreneurs do is we, of course, we repent for many days, months, years, etc. But entrepreneurs are not so. So they immediately do something to bring about the equilibrium again, reduce the dissonance. So even if they made a loss, next time within very short a period, they bounce back to normal situation. No longer they repent or think about that loss or whatever the negative thing. So that is what the theory says, cognitive dissonance, right? So thereafter two-factor theory. This, of course, you definitely would have come across under other subjects. Organization behavior, two factors theory, right? What are the two factors? Hygiene factor and the motivator, right? Hygiene factors, what do hygiene factors do? It reduces the dissatisfaction. It no longer motivates the fellow, but it reduces the dissatisfaction, right? Is salary a hygiene factor or a motivator? Hygiene factor, right? Why? You must have that is, right? It only reduces the dissatisfaction. Right? What is the general opinion? Salary, is it a hygiene factor or motivator? Yes. Motivator. Motivator. Right. Actually, What do you believe? Right. You have done politics somewhere, no? Have you done politics? No. No, right. The way you answered, I believe that's okay. Right. No, the thing is, for executives, it is not a motivator. It is a hygiene factor. But for lower level people, it is a motivator. Blue collar worker, it is a motivator, right? So anyway, now these are different things where entrepreneurs looking at this one, how to motivate a person who is a laborer type of a thing. It is a different way. How to motivate a subordinate who is in the executive cadre is a different way. Okay, right? So ERG theory is, you know about the Maslow's hierarchy now. So it is, there is an argument, it is always not occurring in the hierarchical way. So they cut it. The physiological security and the existence needs. Affiliation, relatedness. Esteem and the actualization, these things. So then they say these, of course, entrepreneurs. Then there's another one, self-determination theory, right? So there you compare, yeah, once again, similar to the TPB, pen behavior. There are three areas, competence, etc. So if you feel that your entrepreneur you have chosen can be studied under this one, right? You can go and then look at this one. Original one is Desi and Ryan. So this is available. Then you talk about the goal setting. Understood. No, when you set a goal, you are motivated to achieve, right? If you are a sprinter, athlete, right? You want to break the record, right? Of somebody who has set it, right? You practice continuously, toil hard. Then the expectancy theory, that of course we are a little bit of mathematics involved, right? You give the value, compute the value and then see. That is not always happening with the entrepreneurship, okay? Right. So the 11th one is where very interesting. Pull and push, right? So some people become entrepreneurs due to pull factors and others due to push factors, right? So that is somebody is pushed to become an entrepreneur. I don't like to become an entrepreneur, but somebody pushes me, right? And I don't like to become an entrepreneur, but the way things happen, I am lured to that one, attracted to that one. I am pulled, right? So those are the two pull and push factors. Different scenarios, different context are there for a person to become either pulled or pushed, right? So the fundamental difference is, if somebody becomes an entrepreneur, now you're entrepreneur, you study in the assignment. Fundamentally, you decide whether it is through a push or pull, right? So the thing is, when the entrepreneur is driven by the push factors, right? There he becomes an entrepreneur with reluctance. Initially, he doesn't like, but since there is no other way, he becomes an entrepreneur with reluctance. Later, he becomes successful. That's a different story. But initially, with reluctance. But pull factor is not so, right? Willingly he goes, right? So like that, where I can explain. So these are the authors, pull factor, push factor. And then I will just give a list of incidents where you can rate, find out whether this creation is due to pull factor or push factor, right? A small exercise. Takes about 2 minutes. And then there are points here. Now, first one is desire for independence and control. Somebody becomes an entrepreneur due to that. You rate whether this is a pull factor or a push factor. And somewhere down, if we take here, passion to innovate, create new products, is it a pull factor or a push factor? Right? Is the exercise clear? Friends at the back? Okay? Try please. Take about 2 minutes and then do. You can do jointly if you want. Huh? Okay, then let us see. Right. So one of your colleagues is talking about, right, madam? First one.
So the first one is desire for independence and control.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pull factor.
Why are you telling that it is a pull factor?
Because he always has a desire one, and for him to sort of grasp it.
Yes. And he is not worse off at the present position. Maybe a person who is doing a job, right? In that case, where, of course, instances may be there, he is not having the autonomy to take decisions, right? But it doesn't mean that no one is asking him to leave the company now. He could have stayed, right? But the thing is, where he feels, yeah, no one is pushing him. But he himself will realize, if I want to implement my own idea, this is not the place for me. So therefore, I myself will decide to go, right? So therefore, it is a pull factor, right? Okay, what is your opinion on the second one, family tradition?
Family tradition is a push factor.
Push factor, can you, why you are telling it is a push factor?
Because it can be because of family's influence.
Yeah. Family influences, okay, we all are doing this one. You guys, you can't, do on your own. You might as well come to us and then do the business with us. Easy. Right. Okay. Thank you. Right. Now I am asking, has anyone rated second one as a pull factor? Now she said it is a push factor. What is your opinion? Is the push factor, right? Anyone who believes that family tradition is not a push factor, instead it's a pull factor. All believe so? All, everyone? You mean? It is not a push factor. Everyone believes, right? In fact, friends, now this second one is that can be both pull and push, right? I'm just leaving it with you. Huh? Not asking you to answer, but leave it there, right? Okay. So, for example, so push factor is if I take now, like your assignment, during our time, our group studied Kulatunga Rajapaksa of DSI. Our entrepreneur was Kulatunga Rajapaksa. And then there, when we talk to him, and then see, and then he said he was not interested in becoming an entrepreneur, right? Initially, now he is a person who has a chemistry special degree at Peradeniya University, right? And he's either first class or second upper, if I remember. And those days, those who become first class and second uppers, they get opportunities to join the academia, university. He entered into the university staff, science faculty, Peradeniya University, right? And then he said that that time, the father had given him an ultimatum, you definitely should come, right? And take part, because he said other brothers are there, all were, right, helping the father. Father said, now no longer he can shoulder all these, you guys should come. And he said, even I couldn't collect my first month's salary, right? I had to come back. I vacated the post and then came, joined the company. So unwillingly, with reluctance, that's a push factor. If you take Pusalamit is engaged in what? Poultry business, right? Started by Mr. Babbitt. right? Vavita is also a person, science graduate from Peradeniya University, right? Not a special degree, but he is a graduate from Peradeniya University. His wife is in the same university parallel art faculty, right? They started the business and they have one son and a daughter. Daughter is a doctor. Chamindri is a doctor. Dilshan is the son is a management graduate. They never pushed him. But Dilshan, he himself said, no, I have seen how my mother and father, they work, right? And then they were working hard. I felt a little sorry about them. Father could have taken up an executive job somewhere and then earned live a luxurious life, right? He has seen his contemporaries how they are living with all this. Of course, they had some wealth, family wealth, with all these things, right? He could have. He had given up everything. And be mindful, all these things that I don't know about now. Earlier at that time, those who got involved in the poultry business, right? None of them had the educational qualifications as Mr. Vavita had. So all had been traditional businessmen, these people engage in slaughtering animals, etc. No? So for that, there is no professionalism involved in. So he's the only person who academic or rather the educated person who ventured into that business, right? So like that, then Dilshan said, no, I felt I liked that one, right? But only thing, there were certain other negative forces. So, so when I meet all these the school friends at the past previous association and alumni anywhere, so people were talking, what are you doing? Then they were telling that I am an accountant, I am a person, I am a general manager. So like that, they were telling about their designation. When they asked me, I am telling I am running a poultry farm. And then he said, all people are looking at me in a crooked eye. So, but still I enjoy that one. So there are instances where the family traditions has become the pull factor as well. When you interview the fellow, the way he gives the answer, you categorize whether it is pull factor, push factor, right? These are an instance where it falls into both categories, right? So like that, friends, there we can, with the interest of time, I'm not going to touch upon all, right? But there are instances, I will spot this one here. Strategy to counter discrimination. Strategy to counter discrimination, right? Because of that one, some people become entrepreneurs, right? So that is, of course, initially it is a mix, pull and push, right? So they have found that in Texas, in America, if you take 10 people, out of the 10, right, 7 are entrepreneurs. Either started as an entrepreneur, whether they succeed or not, it's a different story. 7 out of 10 are entrepreneurs, right? So they want to study and see that whether there is a particular reason, geographically or any other way, why only in Texas it is happening. And that whatever the survey revealed some fantastic facts. They found that in Texas, right, out of 10 people, 7 people have criminal records. They have either served a jail term or had gone to police or anything, and then they have a lot of other issues, and those people couldn't find employment elsewhere. The moment they go there, they are rejected, right? And they found that yes, it is discrimination, and they said, okay, the best way is to start our own enterprise. So all these people have become successful entrepreneurs. 7 out of 10, right? So that is, of course, initially it is push because no other option, do or die situation. But later on, they had realized that, okay, my God, by this way, we don't have to bow down to any other person. So, like that, where you see the mixed results if you analyze the people. Okay. So, the next last theory now we had talked about 11 now. Last one is very interesting, found by Professor Saraswati, right? And then that is called the theory of effectuation, right? So, then this, of course, is expressed in a very simple way. Professor Saraswati has explained that in a very simple way. So the background how she has arrived at that one is through some studying entrepreneurs, right? Successful on that story I am not going to tell, but here the findings are this, right? So here she has explained. I will first display everything. Now there are 5 principles. So these 5 principles are initially now see expressed in very simple terms, not complicated. Academic jargon is not there. Birds in hand principle, create opportunities and act with whatever available resources. Now the thing is, we being managers, We want to fulfill everything and then start something, right? If everything is positive, we do all analysis, feasibility, ratio analysis, everything, and then decide ROI, whether this is good, this is a good business. But according to this one, entrepreneurs are not so. They follow this principle. What is it? Create opportunities and act with available resources. If there are no opportunities, you create opportunity and then do it, right? Second one. So these are findings of a study of successful entrepreneurs. Affordable loss. They know that yes, there can be a loss, but whether it is affordable or not, something little connected to the Warren Buffett as well. And thereafter, this is another term, crazy kill. That is where you meet partners. Businessmen need partners, right? They need people to be onboarded as employees, managers, so on and so forth, right? And when somebody talks about the partnership partners, they look at their other credentials, but what they look at is only who can bring new resources, maybe tangible resources or intangible resources. If they are fulfilling that one, yes, they form the partnership alliances with them and then work together, right? Then lemonade principle, what they call is mistakes and surprises, right? Sometimes there are mistakes and then mistakes can be transformed into surprises, right? Even to the customers, so on and so forth. Thereafter, detours. If something is wrong, they find that quickly they detour. If this is not going to work, they don't dwell on that one. And finally, pilot in the plane. So planes, aeroplanes, of course, pilots, right? Don't see roads like when we drive vehicles now. So that is what they say, just empty space. If it is a road, they know the road signs and then, where the trenches are and then you drive the vehicle. But here, they navigate the plane in such a way that the way they want. So with that one, this is something where it is very odd for an ordinary person. Manager might say that, hey, this fellow must be crazy. No, but the entrepreneurs follow these principles and then become successful, right? So in that case, even in your case study, your entrepreneur, you can see whether the fellows are following these principles. It's a fairly new theory, right? So not only in the entrepreneurship, even in the management, this is applicable. So there are 12 theories that I have just outlined. I use the term outlined, which you can use for your entrepreneurship assignments. And if it is your project, whether it is case study or anything, still you are free to use. Okay, so we'll move forward. So rest, of course, I am not going to dwell much, right? Because our topic was motives of entrepreneurial action now. So motives we have covered, theories we have covered. But only thing I told about two models now, I will just give the introduction and then just give examples, that's all, right? So that is our game plan for the rest, right? So this part, of course, I am not going to dwell because all businesses follow a life cycle. But applicable theories to explain the status of each life cycle stage may vary. So that I have given in the handout, applicable theories. Now say if it is a life cycle, each of these level, these are the theories which are predominantly applicable, not hard and fast, predominantly applicable. But there are two other terms that I have introduced at the bottom, right? Because this applies to the declining stage. In the cycle, if they don't do anything, the cycle goes down, decline. At that time, there are two concepts applicable. One is entrepreneurial exit and other one is entrepreneurial failure. Looks like same, but there are differences. Entrepreneurial exit means the founder or the entrepreneur leaves the business when the business is doing well. Other one is he leaves when the business is doing bad. Imagine the founder, director, founder, entrepreneur, after sometimes he leaves the business. Business is run very well. He retires. Microsoft, Bill Gates retired. But the company works. Company had been very good even the time when he was leaving. Right? That is entrepreneurial exit. Some people leave the company, they divest when the company was no longer doing profitably. So that is entrepreneurial failure. Right? So that happens in the decline stage, right? But we are not going to study any theories because that is beyond our scope. If you are interested, you can, study those. Scholars have studied, but it is beyond our scope. And even in the case study, even in the MFRP, we are supposed to talk about the success of a company now. But there's the other side of the coin as well. The research is open to study the failures as well. Case studies we can do to the failures. but we don't encourage that one. The reason is very difficult to collect data. So when the companies failed no more, right? There is no people there, we can't tap the people to get the information. Even if we tap the people for the information, we don't get the right answers. Because the reason is after failure, everybody will say that, yes, it failed, but I am not responsible for that one. So they try all the ways out to prove that they are not the culprits. So you don't get the correct answers, information. So we discourage. But if you are interested, you can use those constructs. There are a lot of ways of studying those. Right. Okay. So with that one, we'll go to these two models, right? As I told, I will not dwell on this one. These two models, of course, are not that difficult, right? So here, first one is they are very simple. They are using self-assessment, and then there are two other activities are there, and that one both lead to entrepreneurial motivation, right? Moderated by the entrepreneurial exposure. So the way it appears, right, it's like a simple phenomenon. But what it says is, if a person wants to start an enterprise, if I want to start a business, right? What I do is, according to this model, what I would do is, say, for example, the apparel business. I am trying to do an apparel business. I imagine I benchmark a person who succeeded in the apparel industry and compare myself vis-a-vis that my capabilities, my strengths, etc. I compare with that person who succeeded. Or else I can create an ideal person in that particular business and then compare myself. Thereby, what I am doing is I am comparing my identity with that person. I identify myself to which degree I am differing from that person. So that is what is called. With that, when I study, I find that okay, this identity's difference is vast. Obviously, when somebody starts the business, it should be vast. So I have two reactions. One is try hard to match that, right? Narrow down that identity gap. Second part is, yes, let it be there. Let the identity be conflicting, but let him go his way, I'll go my way. I am seeking a totally different path. That is what these two areas indicate. Improve identity change means I understand, yes, there's a difference. I will try to, make myself closer to that fellow, different path. Or else, let him have his business, I will have my own way. So avoid escape identity conflict, right? So with both ways, there are successful entrepreneurs. That motivation has been there. And this particular research of these guys, right? They found the new thing they had added to the knowledge was this exposure. This exposure had been a moderator for that one, right? So I will just quickly give an example, right? Quickly give an example, but you don't need to bother much about that one. This I have taken from case study done. I don't remember exactly what the date is. Year is maybe MBA, say 2018 or something. Case study. That report had been there in the library. I don't know whether still it is there, right? Okay, this is about now. This is what exactly I have explained. So I'm not going to delve on that one. So this is about, say, TJC Mango. That project was there. Success of the TJC Mango project. That is a case study. So TJC Mango is somewhat similar to this hybrid mango. You call this Alfonso mango, right? So like that. We have this hybrid mango. Nelna, they had done a particular type of mango. This is TJC, different variety. Why this is not available, we haven't seen is because this is totally for the export market, right? So and it's where they are, but it is export market. So this had been started by a gem merchant who had been flourishing in the gem business, Tom Mellawala. And thereafter, he had invested a lot in this one, right? Because gem business was his cash cow, right? Again, now the person who had come out of the blues, didn't have any knowledge of the mango agriculture agribusiness industry, just a gem. So how he has done it. So I will quickly explain, right? So just to understand this model, right? So all the story is there. We don't have to bother much about that here. Now these are some of the products that they are having, right? Okay. Now in case studies, you are going to draw this one. This timeline, it's a must. You have to draw. Now this is what I have captured from that particular the case study research, right? They have drawn it then that way. So they draw it, and then thereafter, all these tiny letters are explanation of various milestones. Now this is trend that is going up now. So at each, say, change, they explain what was the reason behind that change. That was the case study you are going to do, right? So like that, you see some dotted lines here. Right now, see, dotted lines means during time 1992 to 2008, right? This company has not earned a single cent, not a single cent, because he was doing R&D. That fellow had money. Gem merchant, no, he had money. That was a cash cow. So he has invested a lot on R&D. That is why there is nothing there in the dotted line means there are other, but only no the growth or anything, right? So now see, just glide over and then see, now here, identity, self-assessment. He compared himself with another established mango agribusiness person, right? And found that these respects, he knowledge and experience, he didn't have any knowledge in the mango industry, but business knowledge he had. So like that, they as in the case study, they have listed down a lot, right? Now I have handpicked only one, and he is there, one aspect is there. And here also this person, right, affluent, etc. Now he had followed both. Now he had done some improvement for that as well, right? Since he didn't have a land there to grow mango, right? There he had gone and asked for, got certain things, the lease land, etc. And like that, he has gone for outgrower systems. So that is how he had done that approach. In parallel, he had given for that approach as well. So he had joined one scientist, a partner, who knows about the trade, right? Mango. So he is the person who had done all the R&D part when introducing this particular thing. So like that, there, of course, this is where finally motivation had been there. Why? Over a period of 10 years, almost 10 years, the project hadn't earned a single cent. So you understand the level of motivation the fellow would have had, no, right? So that is how the explanation is, right? So then all these experience, right? Now the thing is, his explanation is gems that merchant, all gems export market. The people who buy, his customers are really rich and affluent people, right? And then what he wanted was, that is why he said, I was not going to sell this product to Sri Lanka. It is to those people who can afford to, buy with a premium as long as the product is superior, right? Okay, so then that is just a brief explanation, not an application, but there, what I wanted is, especially in your assignment, just try to see whether this can be applied. Try, yeah, not a mandatory thing. The next one is a bit complicated. I would say complicated, but it is something like this, right? Second model. Now in this one, there's a familiar part. That is what is in the middle. Now this is representing a particular process of entrepreneurship, not that 5-step process I have mentioned. And now see, decision to behave entrepreneurially, entrepreneurial strategy, so on and so forth. Finally, firm outcome, something like that harvesting part. So other parts are something going in cycle, right? So here, when the person decides to behave entrepreneurially, what the factors which are affecting him, idea, business, and so on and so forth, right? So without explaining this one, right? Without explaining this one, if I just take an example, right? I will take an example for this one, this Mac, right? So this is also another case study PIM had. Sarat Talakon, how he started the SMAC. So that case study had been there, but long ago, I don't think that book is available, right? So here, in a nutshell, Sarat Talakon is a person hailing from a business family, right? But his parents were in the spare parts business. He hated the spare part business, but the parents wanted him to undertake that business, right? But what happened was, he, of course, found that he is a misfit. That is not a suitable one for me. That's what he explained in his own wordings, right? And he said, after some time, the father died. Mother couldn't run the business. So then we had, myself and my brother, we had now the autonomy. We convinced the mother to divest that business. And he said, thereafter we started beverage business. And there he found that at that time, the opportunity, motive opportunity had come. At that time, the beverages that were there in the market were either aerated water or cordials. Aerated water There it is carbonated. Some people hate it. They don't like the aerated or carbonated drinks. But it is ready. You just open the lid and then drink. Ready to drink. Cordials, non-carbonated, but not ready to drink. You have to prepare. It takes time. Cumbersome. So he found that there is a segment in the market who prefers non-carbonated but ready to drink. That is the product he produced. Found that opportunity, right? Opportunity, that motive is opportunity seeking. And it was fueled by he being a production engineer, right? Helped by his brother, an electrical engineer. So they could start the venture very well. Technology, everything had been in place. So that is what the story says. But there, what we see is if we can plug that one into the model and then see, right? So all these things are there. These are some of the photographs, right? Now here in this model, we have now how he was motivated to go ahead with each of these steps. So here it says motivation to become an entrepreneur in that field. Why we have PC, personal characteristics, and PE, personal characteristics. He being a person from the business family, that was supportive. All these factors were supportive, right? All these factors were supportive. And then thereafter, right, at each stage, it was done in an experimental way, right? Finally, the rewards were there because it's a novel product that had been introduced to the market. He was comparing the expected outcome. Outcomes are sales, profit, so on and so forth. And if it is not up to the mark compared, yes, still he had the motivation to again go back to the original state and then continue. And again, outcome, and then they implement outcome. So whether it is the process is okay, whether any modifications to be done, everything. So like that, this is how it had taken place. But I can't just explain everything in a smaller time frame. But this case study was there, how the fellow had started business and flourished, right? And time to come, sometimes earlier, Dr. Ravis Pereira was inviting him to talk about the entrepreneurial journey. And in your course, how many sessions you have? 10. Out of 10, only 9 delivery sessions. Last one is where we are talking about some, of course, earlier we were bringing in practicing entrepreneur and he's talking about it, his entrepreneurial journey. For those type of sessions, early he had invited Sarat Talahakon. So he was talking about this. So that is how we also have captured his entrepreneurial journey, right? Thereafter, we were putting this into this model. And thereafter, in the course outline, there's a textbook that he had given it. Textbook is one is the Hogard, other one is Kuratko and Rao. So the Kuratko and Rao one, this is the model that they have given, right? So my session ends here, right? What we did was, so our topic was motives of entrepreneurial action. So we initially defined the key terms, got the interpretation. Initially the pure terms, then added the entrepreneurial tag there. We understood, we looked at a lot of examples, and thereafter with that one, we went into applicable theories. Why? Because we want theories to incorporate in our assignments and the final projects, right? So there we were exposed to theories, and then it is up to you, to your group, depending on the entrepreneur you select, to handpick 1 or 2 theories applicable and then complete your one. Thereafter, we were just putting some light, throwing light on the models as well. If it is applicable, still you can, right? So it's a bit of a comprehensive thing I did today. But finally, I believe you captured something to help writing your assignment on one hand, and something helpful to your case study, and something for all others to fill your chapter 3 of literature review of the final report. So that is my mission today. Clear? Any questions? We have 2 more minutes. Any questions? Right? So next day it would be Dr. Teresi be taking it. So I'll be coming again after that. Okay, friends. Right.